On the 18th of April, the man was admitted to a hospital in northern Spain under a name that was not his.
They wrote another name on the chart. I did not choose it.
Four weeks later, 8,000 people swam around a breakwater 1,100 kilometers to the south. Nobody in the water had heard of him. Somebody drew this. Everyone after them has to live on it. That breakwater is Spanish, and to see why you have to go back before Spain was finished being made. In 1415, a Portuguese fleet took Ceuta. When the union of the two crowns came apart, the city stayed Spanish. Melilla went the same way in 1497, 5 years after the last Muslim kingdom in Spain fell. They were called advanced posts of Christendom, and they were meant to face the continent they sat on. Six centuries later, they are still there. In 1995, they were made autonomous cities, not colonies, not abroad, Spain. So the line is not a modern decision. It is a medieval one that nobody has ever taken back. A medieval line does not need a fence. This one got one in the 1990s, and it has been growing ever since.
"9 years I have stood on this line. It was already 3 meters when I came.
Three meters in 98. 6 meters in 2005. 11 kilometers of it at Melilla, 3 fences deep, with towers and a road between them.
The road is so we can drive along and see. That is all it is for. And the towers are so somebody is always looking. Somebody always is.
Every increase was a response to people getting over the last one. The fence is a record of its own failures, written in meters.
They come at the same hour. Say night the ninth forge, we know the hour. Knowing it does not change it. That is the part nobody in Madrid understands.
Remember that sentence. It is the whole episode. Knowing the hour did not change it because the hour was not decided at the fence. In April of 2021, it was decided in a hospital.
I came on a medical plane. There was a passport and it had a different name on it.
The man was Brahim Ghali, Secretary General of the Polisario Front, which has spent half a century arguing that Western Sahara is not Morocco.
The admission was made on medical grounds. It was not announced because in our judgment it did not require announcing.
A man in my position arrives the way he is allowed to arrive. I was not hiding from Spain. Spain knew exactly who was in the bed.
The patient's identity was known to the relevant authorities.
Morocco was not told. That is the entire decision, and it was a small one.
There was no obligation to inform a third country.
They are not angry that I am here. What angers them is not being asked.
That is a diplomatic matter. It is not a medical one.
No obligation. And no idea, apparently, what the border was for. What the border was for became clear 4 weeks later, at two beaches called Benzu and El Tarajal.
The water is warm this month. Everybody here knows where the fence stops.
The fence stops at the sea. On both beaches, a concrete breakwater runs out into the water, and the line ends where the concrete ends.
I tied my shoes around my neck and went around the end of it. It takes a few minutes. Children can do it, and children did.
On the 17th and 18th of May, around 8,000 people did exactly that. About 1,500 of them were children.
Nobody was standing there. That is the only thing that was different. Every other week of my life, somebody was standing there. I still do not know what changed. I only know it was not me.
Morocco said it had done nothing. Spain understood it perfectly. Spain understood it, and the understanding cost a minister her job.
The foreign minister left office in July.
And within a year, Spain changed a position it had held for decades and backed Morocco's plan for Western Sahara.
Policy is reviewed periodically. Relations with a neighbor are not built on a single episode.
The man in the hospital went home on the 1st of June. His bill, 45,000 euros, was never paid. So the mechanism worked, and it is worth naming plainly. A border between two countries had been turned into a lever that one of them could pull.
We do not accept that characterization. Spain does not negotiate over its own territory.
Nobody does. It happened anyway. It happened anyway, and the fence kept being improved. In 2019, Spain spent 18 million euros taking the razor wire off both fences. The stated reason was humanity.
The same plan raised them. Less to cut yourself on, further to fall. Nobody asked anyone who works on it whether that was an improvement.
On the 24th of June 2022, up to 2,000 people tried to cross at Melilla. Most had come from Sudan and Chad. How many died is still disputed. Morocco said 23. United Nations experts said at least 37. A Moroccan rights group says 77 are missing.
Three numbers for the same morning. I was not there, but I know what it looked like.
Three years on, nobody has been tried for any of it. Nobody was tried, nothing was redesigned, and this July it happened again. Through the last 10 days of July, about 1,500 people came, swimming around Tarajal and Benzu, seen the same two breakwaters. Then on the 30th, Spain sent the army to a Spanish city. The death toll was given as 9, then 18, then 34. Notice that we are 5 years on and still cannot count. That is not an accident of reporting. A line nobody will take responsibility for is a line where nobody counts the bodies. The Prime Minister called it an attack on Spain's territorial integrity. He was describing people swimming around the end of a wall.
It has been the same wall since before my father was born.
"600 years ago, somebody decided this piece of one continent belonged to another. Everything since has been the maintenance of that sentence. That is where the line falls. That is where the line falls.